Hello everyone, this is Melissa with Enchanted Emerald bringing you your reading today for love for Capricorn, for my Capricorn gang. And so that is 4 placements for Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising, and of course Venus as we look at the love situation here for the week of July 6th through July 13th, 2022. So Wednesday to Wednesday. As always, I like to introduce my deck. The deck that I am using today, of course, is the Light Seers Tarot. Beautiful imagery here on that. And so the energy, as I step into your energy, Capricorn, I'm really feeling as though you're in a bit of a new situation, right? Feeling as though this is the beginning of catching feelings. And so it's almost as if there is this feeling of feeling a little bit crazy in love, right? Things are fresh and new and things are going strong, and it's stirring up a lot of feelings within you, right? And it can be, when the beginning of things, it's like new and exciting, but also it's a little bit terrifying. And so I do feel, especially for Capricorn, that can be taking you outside of your comfort zone just a little bit. So stepping into your energy here, of course, we have 3 cards actually. The Page of Cups with the 3 of Cups. I love that purple. That's just so pretty. That's like one of my favorite colors. And the Tower. Dun da dun. And so that's a beautiful Tower card as well, because I feel like there's a lot of electrifying energy there. And with electrifying energy, there is a way we can manipulate that energy and mold it into something new and better, right? And so there's a lot of magic around. Now, I'm going to be looking at this card most of the time here because this is what I'm seeing here. I feel like you see a lot of potential, right, in this person. I feel as though this really brings up a lot of matters of the heart. Whoop, there we go. This is actually, you're holding the hands and the heart, but that's more like a spiritual hand, right? Where you guys are kind of holding it up together, and then there's green for the heart chakra, right? A little bit of red, a little bit of fearfulness, and then there is like atom circles, right? Like matters of the heart. And so that's really what I'm getting for that is where this heart chakra, it's just like so much energy kind of pouring out of that. And some of that comes out in the form of that fear, right? And that could be something that is tied to, opening up and being vulnerable. Maybe in the past you've gotten hurt, of course, and you've worked through some stuff, and you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you are putting yourself out too quickly, to putting your heart on the line too quickly, where you are being vulnerable and open with somebody, and having the potential to get your feelings out in the mix and get hurt. But at the same time, you are really wanting to navigate the situation so much differently than you have in the past, because you've grown from the things that you've gone through in the past, right? So you're navigating things differently. So you're trying to bring all of this together and navigate this in a new way. Now I feel as though it's almost as if you're putting this person, right, like up on a pedestal, right? You gravitate toward one another. You can see the energy, right, of that. But it's almost as if this person is, maybe you're feeling like they're out of reach, out of your grasp, right? Where if you were to reach your hand up, it's like just out of your grasp, right? Where you feel like this is really amazing, and I just don't know if this is something that's achievable for me. See, because you can see when pigs fly, right? The pig is flying. And so I do feel, again, that the energy between the two of you could feel electric, like in that Tower card. You could gravitate toward one another in a spiritual connection, right? Perhaps you met in a past life. You just feel like this person feels so familiar, like you've known this person forever, right? And, perhaps you met this person maybe within some sort of a school setting or in some sort of like informal class, whether it was a meeting at work, whether it was in an actual class that you were learning something that you signed up for, or perhaps it was, in fact, in a college class, right? Something like that. I just feel like you're feeling though like they are out of your reach. Maybe they're feeling a little bit intimidating to you because you maybe see that they have so much more energy and so much more, whatever that is. You just feel like you want to have a conversation with them, but you want to make sure that you're saying all the right things and that you sound intelligent and you impress them, right? And so you just take a little bit of a step back and try to gather your thoughts and everything before you approach them. Now, this person could be secretly seeing somebody on the side. I do feel that this is somebody that they are interested in, right? I feel like whether they are in fact in a like courtship with this person, or they've let it be known that they have feelings for that person or have an interest to get to know that person better. I feel as though that's very, very much in the beginning stages of that. Now, I do feel like for some that could be like maybe a situation in which that person has been with that person in the past and it didn't work out. And now they're like reapproaching getting it together again, but it's been many years, right? But it's someone that they're interested in, and so in some way, shape, or form, it's almost as if they feel tied to them. See how that bowl is? And they nourish them, right? They nourish them in some way, so that they, this person that they're interested in, they feel very secure around that person. They feel very grounded around that person. Perhaps that's a business partner or someone who has been a business partner in the past. They are just kind of flirting with the idea of either getting back together or getting together. And so perhaps you just found this out. Perhaps you just found out that there is this third party, right? And now you're feeling like, gosh, everything's falling apart. Like it's not exactly, as perfect a situation as I thought. And so, it can feel like everything is kind of crumbling down around you, which is exactly what that Tower card is, right? You feel like things are going to fall apart around you. But the thing is, this electricity that is like between the two of you, how you gravitate toward one another, that electricity that you feel when you're together, it is a connection that you can't deny. And this person also can't deny that. This person feels that. They feel the connection between the two of you. And in fact, I feel as though it's been more than one occasion in which there has been an intense gaze, or perhaps there was even a shared intimate moment, whether it was a actual kiss or a brushing of the hand or a really long embrace, like a really long hug upon departing from one another. There has been some moments, right, where neither of you can deny this connection. And so I feel as though this other person is almost like in denial about it though, right? I feel like this other person knows that it's happening and sees that it has been happening, but it's almost like they want to ignore it for a little while longer. Mostly because they are kind of worried about how it will inevitably change things, right? And in a permanent way, right? So perhaps you guys have built this solid foundation of friendship, right? When the Tower card comes in, there's always a solid foundation. This is the earth, the ground, right? It's ground solid, rock solid. So even if everything crumbles down now, you can always rebuild and make things new and improved, right? So you at your core, you are still who you are. You're still a strong person, and you can still rebuild. So this person, however, is seeing it like, if we start to go down that path to explore what this connection is, where it's coming from, if something happens and things don't work out, then what happens to the friendship? Is the friendship still going to be solid? And are we going to be able to move past anything that might have happened to still be friends at the end of all of this, right? And I feel like that's where they're thinking that this is going to change things in a permanent way. Because I see that they see your worth, they see your value, they understand what you bring to the table in terms of, you know, having some great support from you. You listen really well. I feel like they see that there's so much that you're bringing to the table that they really value, right? And I think that is where this gets a little bit muddy, right? Because they are really kind of concerned. They rely on you in that way, and they need you in their life in that way, in that capacity, that if something were to happen, they couldn't imagine their life without you in that way. And so this is, you know, something that is, it's a friendship that they don't want to lose, right? And so I feel as though, looking at this other person's energy, we have, you know, starting out, this Fool card representing their energy, right? It's almost as if I feel like this other person would really rather leave things to fate, right? And they don't really want to make a decision. They don't really want to make a choice. They just would rather go with the flow, do what they do, let's see how things turn out day by day, right? And so whatever is meant to be is meant to be, and I feel like that's what they think. And that's okay, right? But at some point, it will call for some action on their part, right? At some point, they will, you know, have to make a decision. And so I think that right now, sitting in the energy of kind of leaving everything up to fate, I think that, you know, with the Four of Cups, they're really sitting in a place of regret, maybe regret for things from the past, trying to think about how to love somebody in the way that they need to be loved, but also honor themselves. I feel like they've been through some stuff where they're really trying to learn about themselves, really learning how to love themselves in the way that they need to be loved, and then being able to extend beyond that to fulfill the needs of somebody else, but also still honor their own boundaries within that, right? And so moving through that, they might be sitting in a space where they're reminiscing a little bit. There might be some guilt, there might be some remorse about things that have happened in the past. And I think that that's where some of this energy is kind of coming in, where they may be trying to reconnect with this person from the past, right? And really trying to think of maybe, how can I do this in a different way? How can I do this better? How can I prove myself to this person, right? But I think what is going to eventually happen is, you can see that this other cup here with all the rainbows, that's like a divine gift, right? It's an opportunity, and that could be you sitting in that space, right? An opportunity to explore something entirely new and different, and prove, you know, not prove to somebody from the past, right? But to move forward and prove to themselves that, hey, I got this. Life is about learning these lessons, mastering these lessons, and I'm going to move forward and show the universe that I know what I'm doing and what I want, and move forward in a very capable, confident way. And moving into that energy, moving differently will invite new and different in, right? And so I feel like it's almost like they have to make that decision, right? They have to make that decision that they want to move forward, and then really start to incorporate some of these lessons into that forward movement, that growth, right? And that with that progress there, then there will be movement. Without that, there really isn't going to be a lot of movement on their part, right? Not really a lot of growth there, right? Because it's almost as if they're sitting in their own little pity party, so to speak, right? And When they decide, though, I think things will happen very, very quickly for them. And so once they decide, this fire energy comes in, lots and lots of fire energy. And we have 3 of Wands, so exploring what's out there. Queen of Wands, sitting in a space of understanding how to create, a love situation that is fulfilling and what they want, right? And what they need. And then this Knight of Wands is just joy and really sometimes can come in with a bit of an impulsive edge, right? Edgy and so much energy comes in with that. But, we don't want to be moving too quickly into that. What happens here with this fire energy is I really feel like Capricorn, you could be connecting with a Sagittarius, actually. That's what I feel. So that fire energy, that could be where some of that fire energy comes in as well. Now, Capricorn and Sagittarius, if you look at them, they can work. I do feel like Capricorn tends to be a bit more conservative. And of course, Sagittarius tends to be a little bit more of a risk taker, a little bit more spontaneous, right? That kind of thing. And so I do feel like Capricorn might feel as though they want to try to coax this Sagittarius out of this pity party, right? Really trying to put themselves out there, trying to be the friend that this person needs. Like, hey, let's go to dinner. Really try to bring them out of their shell, so to speak. But really, where this is it's a mental process for this person. This is something that they have to overcome for themselves, and it really can just boil down to what they're thinking, how they are perceiving the situation, and it's something that you can't rush, and there's nothing that you can do to change that, right? This is an entirely internal process for that person. And so if you allow this, as things do start to progress and this person decides to make that choice to start to explore what's out there, you can take that opportunity as you see it, right? I feel, with a fire energy, if that Sagittarius does make that choice to move forward and explore different areas of love interests, they would be the one to probably come to you and say, I felt this connection and I would really like to see where this goes. Can we, take things to the next level or kick things up a notch? And I feel chills with that. So I do get some validation there. I do feel, however, this person can transform you, Capricorn, if you were to allow it to. I do feel like they can bring in a whole level of energy, something that you've really never felt before. I feel like what you feel from them on a daily basis, it's almost as if it's I don't want to say a muted energy, but I feel like it's turned down a bit, right? Because they're in this stage where they're kind of processing things and they're really not sure what's happening. But I think that once they make that decision, again, the fire will be burning bright, the passion will be rolling, and I do feel as though things could feel pretty intense for you for a while. And so, or for this person even, right, they could be very intense in making the choice to move forward in trying to find their love interest. And so they tend to move through things pretty quickly and make a decision about things, pretty quickly on the fly. They're very spontaneous, and so that will be something where you'll have to kind of meet this person where they're at. Now that could bring change for you in how you operate on a daily basis, and it might help to, that's where I think that's that transformation that will come in for you. I feel like anything that transpires between the two of you, it will never be the same. And I don't mean that in a way that You guys could never rekindle a friendship if something happened in the end. I mean that in a way that you'll feel more inspired to live very passionately, or to be a little bit more spontaneous, or live life on that edge, right? I feel like you might be a little bit more intrigued by the edgier version of that person, perhaps that you've seen at times, maybe in the past with this friendship, but haven't really seen it at this level, okay? And so you might be a little bit more inspired to live your life in that space as well. And so I do feel like it will be very helpful for you to put your cards on the table, right? Put all your feelings out there. I know that this is really uncomfortable for you, but should this person and you decide to kind of see where things go, this is going to be something that's really important, that you're not holding back in terms of your feelings, which could be a tendency, right, for a Capricorn, to kind of move slowly through things and take your time making a decision and things like that, because fire energy, it tends to go quickly. And so Sagittarius could, if this is a Sagittarius for you, be a little bit more impatient in terms of waiting for that to happen if they were to make that decision to try to see where things were going to go between the two of you. So it could be very helpful for you, very beneficial for you to just try to be open and honest as much as you can with your feelings, and be vulnerable as you're moving forward with that, if you're truly interested in that. So, outcome that I have for you for this week, Capricorn, I have the Devil card, Judgment card, and King of Swords. King of Swords, I love this King of Swords. Look at all of the spiritual energy around this King of Swords. This isn't just cutting things out. This is relying on wisdom. The owl, the bat, the crow, right? The raven. There is all purposeful. Okay? So what I really feel with this, the outcome here, is that I think that whatever decision you make, you might have a tendency to feel bound by that, to really feel as though whatever choice that you've made, you feel very committed to follow through with that and to stand by that. You might start to see tendencies within this relationship dynamic that you don't like, or that you feel is like a red flag. It might, really start to bring you to the other side of that, gosh, this I know for sure isn't anything that I am interested in having within a relationship dynamic, right? It can bring about, tendencies to maybe have things happen within the dynamic that you just don't like, whether that is feeling of codependency, where you need to be together for certain things constantly, whether there is a tendency within this other person with that risk taker version of themselves, or that spontaneous version of themselves, to walk on the wild side a little bit more often than you. And maybe there is some tendencies to maybe drink a little bit more often than you, or that kind of thing, partake in some alcohol beverages that you are just like, I don't want to do that often, right? Not that you wouldn't do that, but I just feel like there's something that's going to happen within that dynamic that you're seeing some things and you're like, that's just not how, I'm not in that space at this time in my life, and that's not what I want, right? And so, it's almost as if you felt like you knew this person, but you really didn't. It's almost like you start to see a whole new side of them that you've never seen. And so, I feel like when it comes down to it, you make a commitment and you stick by that, but I think that there's a whole new energy to that there's a need to forgive yourself for not following through if you choose not to be following through with this commitment, right? And so I do feel as though there is a warning that comes from this, and you know, whether that's seeing the red flags, seeing them for what they are, seeing a dynamic that's starting to transpire that you're just like, ooh, yeah, I just don't like how that hits. I don't like how that feels. I don't like how that makes me feel. Understand that you can't change a person. A person has to change themselves. And so don't try to take that on. Don't try to take that on at all. See that for what it is and be honest and really rely on your inner wisdom to help you to make that choice for yourself. And it's okay. Forgive yourself, forgive that other person, that this may not be the situation that you were intending to get into. And moving forward, it may not be such a bad thing. Okay? So I'm sorry. I wish that this was a little bit better of an ending note here for you, Capricorn, but it is definitely something that you need to hear to make the best decision for yourself. Follow your intuition. Know what it feels like, what is happening, know how it makes you feel, and then be able to really put that into words and talk to that person openly and honestly about how you're feeling. So follow your intuition. All right, so great read here for you, Capricorn, and I, of course, will be back with another read for you again soon. And if you're interested in your own reading, I'd love to be able to do that for you. You can hit me up at the square site pinned in the description box below, or it's actually at the top of the page if you're catching me on Facebook. As always, I will be back with another read for you, and until then, be kind to one another. Take care.